The wait is finally over. The moment the automotive world has been anticipating has arrived. The Venom widebody kit is here for Alex's Bugatti Chiron Per Sport. This is a body kit worth over $700,000, and it marks the first ever widebody Chiron ever created. Nobody has attempted this before, and to make it fit, Matt Armstrong had to cut into a Bugatti worth around $6 million. Matt has spent the last year transforming a crash Chiron Per Sport, the very car Bugatti refused to support, into something the factory would never sanction. The goal? Turn this car into the world's first widebody Chiron, using a custom-built Venom kit shipped in from Dubai. Getting to this point has taken a private jet, a secretive contact somewhere in Europe, a pair of genuine Bugatti headlights that normally run about $25,000 each, and the nerve to drill and cut into carbon fiber panels that simply cannot be replaced. Before a single Venom panel could go on, though, Matt had one last problem staring back at him from the dashboard: an airbag warning light. Specifically, a battery interruption igniter fault, triggered by the pyro fuse on the main battery, the safety device that's supposed to cut power in a crash. Matt had already swapped the fuse, but the warning refused to clear. It turned out the fuse was never the issue. The real culprit was a tiny piece of orange plastic inside the connector. Two small locking tabs had snapped off the original part, letting the electrical pins touch and trigger a resistance fault. Matt tracked down a replacement fuse from, of all things, a Mercedes Vito van, just 15 pounds. He carefully removed the orange locking tab without damaging it, transferred it onto the original Bugatti connector, plugged everything back in, and just like that, the dashboard cleared. No warnings, no faults. For the first time since the crash, the Chiron had a completely clean dashboard. As Matt put it, after weeks spent scouring Miami for power fuses, the entire problem came down to one tiny bit of plastic. Months of chasing a phantom airbag fault, solved by a 15-pound van component and a piece of plastic smaller than a fingernail. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. The Venom body kit finally arrived from Dubai, not on a truck, not by courier, but by helicopter, touching down in Alex's backyard in Miami while the Chiron sat waiting in the workshop. Neither Matt nor Alex knew exactly what they were about to see. They'd studied the digital renders and talked through the design, but ultimately they'd had to trust Venom to build something nobody had ever attempted: a fully custom widebody kit for a Chiron Per Sport. Every panel had been designed entirely from scratch because there was no existing widebody Chiron to reference. And while the fuel control module for Matt's Veyron project back in the UK was still taking weeks to arrive from France, this enormous kit had traveled all the way from Dubai and landed within days, by helicopter, no less. When they finally cracked open the crates, what they found was staggering. The design was far more aggressive than anything Bugatti would ever approve. Wider rear arches, extended side skirts, a completely reworked front end, and a rear wing with proportions nothing like the factory Per Sport. Everything looked bigger. Everything looked bolder. Everything looked wider. This is where the project turned genuinely nerve-wracking. To fit the new rear arch extensions, Matt had to cut into the original carbon fiber quarter panels. Panels that weren't damaged and didn't need replacing. They were perfectly good factory Bugatti parts, and if anything went wrong, there was no ordering another set. Bugatti simply won't sell them. Matt marked the cut line, picked up the tool, and paused for a second before making the cut, the point of no return. Alex joked that if they got it wrong, they'd just buy another quarter panel, except they couldn't. Replacement panels don't exist. Once that cut was made, there was no going back. Fortunately, Matt got it exactly right. The arch extensions fit perfectly, and the extended side skirts were drilled and bolted securely onto the original carbon skirts. Both sides came together beautifully, and once the rear quarters were reinstalled, the transformation became impossible to ignore. Looking at the new proportions, Matt admitted the factory wheels suddenly looked far too small for the car. With the bodywork finally taking shape, attention turned to the headlights. The originals had been destroyed in the crash. Used units were being advertised online for as much as $150,000, and even Mate Rimac confirmed that genuine Bugatti pricing runs around $25,000 per headlight, $50,000 for the pair. Bugatti still wouldn't sell them. Then, out of nowhere, a mysterious contact somewhere in Europe reached out. someone who couldn't be filmed and couldn't be identified. Matt's solution was to book a private jet, flying out to meet the contact directly. They landed with barely an hour before the aircraft had to leave again, met the contact, collected the headlights, and raced back to the airport. The price? Just 10,000 euros, far cheaper than anything else they'd been able to find. Genuine Bugatti Chiron headlights, quietly sourced through a secretive European contact, flown across the continent, and then delivered all the way to Miami. Back at the workshop, Matt wired them in. The main headlights came to life immediately, and the car was road legal again. But one problem remained: the square daytime running light signature, the unmistakable design that instantly identifies a Bugatti, refused to work. Matt worked through menu after menu on the car's electronics, trying every setting he could find. Nothing. Then someone spotted the issue. The electronic modules inside the rear quarter panels, disconnected earlier during the bodywork, had never been plugged back in. The moment they were reconnected, every light on the car came alive at once. The daytime running lights, the side markers, all of it. For the first time, the signature Bugatti lighting pattern shone through the brand new Venom front end, and suddenly everyone in the workshop could picture what this car was actually going to become. Even with bent hinges, prototype fit panels, no paint, and unfinished alignment, the transformation was remarkable. It barely resembled the wrecked Chiron they'd started with more than a year earlier. The new front end, the extended rear arches, and the wider rear wing all worked together as a single, cohesive shape. Of the 60 Bugatti Chiron Per Sport models ever built, this is now the only wide-body example in existence. The one major decision still left is the wheels. To attempt a top-speed run, the car needs specific 355 mm wide tires on 21-inch wheels. No manufacturer currently produces that tire in a 22-inch fitment, so the wheel diameter is locked in. But the wider arches created a new problem. Standard wheel offsets would leave the wheels sitting too far inward, lost inside the bodywork. Venom's solution was to supply wheels with a much more aggressive offset, pushing them outward to properly fill the arches and completely transform the car's stance. When Matt test-fit the new wheels, even without tires mounted, the difference was obvious. The fitment looked exactly right. The only real question left is color. Satin black doesn't feel dramatic enough for a build like this, so that decision has been left open to Matt, Alex, and the wider community to help decide. One thing, though, is already certain. The stance works, the proportions work, and this Bugatti has been completely transformed. This Venom wide-body Chiron still isn't finished, so stay tuned for what comes next.